The Main Event Podcast. I'm your host, Jonah Pitney, and this is my co-host, KO Sports Talk, Kofi Ohemi. And once again, we is talking about the Chicago Bears and what's been going on this week, and also briefly discussing the whooping the Chicago Bears faced last week against the Buffalo Bills. And let's see how well the backups will play. Let's see who will make the team and see how well they play in the final week of the preseason versus the Titans. But starting it off in the latest news, injury updates, and also guys being released as well. The Bears is closing in on basically trimming down their roster. They trimmed it down a few more guys. Of course, you reported on it yesterday, Kofi. Javon Williams being released. I know you feel good about that, man. Tell everybody.
Oh yeah, I made a video about it just recently today. Basically Javon Williams, man, he's just been released from Chicago Bulls. He was released yesterday from the Bears, and so in case some of you Bears fans don't already know, it's Javon Williams, a 7th round draft pick, drafted from Georgia. He was pretty solid backup wide receiver, pretty decent wide receiver for us for the past couple years. It's just, things kind of took things for the worse, when during that Saints game when he punched Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the face, and of course that drop that he made in the playoff game against the Saints. So it's like every time like he will play the Saints, it's like he just sees red, or or he just has bad luck for some damn reason.
Right. He just, I don't know, man. He it's even before that he really couldn't perform like
Right.
we needed him to, because the first time he had the chance to have a big breakout game, it was when against the Cowboys in 2019. And what happened? He couldn't catch the ball in the end zone the first time. Second time he couldn't catch the ball again. The third time he get injured, then we don't see him for the rest of the season. He come in
and he got injured in the training camp too. He got injured in training camp this season.
Right. We expected him to be good last year. We expect him to come in, spot at certain times, perform well, play practice well enough to get on the field, even at one point take Anthony Miller's spot. But of course, that didn't happen. He couldn't get past Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller couldn't get out his own motherfucking ass. So that's they're just once again dropping that ball in the end zone. And they're not performing well this preseason. It was just straight ass. What's going on, Ian?
Freaking
Good.
Justin,
how you feeling, bro?
Justin Fields was getting pressured a lot too, man. Like even Riley Ridley. I also expect Riley Ridley to also get cut, because Riley Ridley was also playing in the preseason, and he was dropping multiple passes. And Javon Williams was dropping multiple passes. He couldn't catch a pass to save his own life, and it made it really hard for Justin Fields to find the proper read or the proper wide receiver to catch the ball. Really, only Rodney Adams was the only liable target ever, with Justin Fields.
Right, and even he had a few drops. He slipped on that one pass that Andy Dalton threw that turned out to be an interception. But other than that, he's been pretty solid. But he is one of the few many that's been released from the Chicago Bears. Just over the past few weeks, ever since they signed Jason Peters, they released guys like offensive lineman Gage or Savectic, defensive back Devontae Ruffin, and they also waived another defensive end, just aware. It's been a lot of guys that they've been just trimming the roster down. And then just recently, also Michael Joseph, they signed Deontay Ruffin back, but then of course they released him earlier. They also released Arson Chicharlo, and also they got a few guys on IR that they probably placed on that they probably gonna try to keep and put on the practice squad. But it's been a lot of guys that's been gone. They just reactivated Jermaine Ifedi back to the back from the Pope list. So and then they just signed Isaiah Coulter, but I don't know if Isaiah Coulter gonna actually end up staying on the team. What's going on, CG? How you feeling? But I don't know if
And
a
also
lot of those.
Jason Peters has been practicing as well too.
Yeah, but they say that man has been huffing and puffing out of breath. So I don't know if
Mm,
he's gonna really be in shape until it's probably gonna end up hitting somewhat probably like around week 4, week 5. If he able to stay healthy that whole season. If he is, then
yeah,
that's probably around the time he's gonna really be in shape because he is a real big dude.
yeah, 6'4",
How
what,
long do
320
you?
pounds?
Yeah, big man. Hey, I'm there. How about you, Ags? How long do y'all think Andy Dalton will last? Let me see how you start that off. How long you think Andy Dalton gonna last?
Well, I'm gonna say this, right? So, I mean, of course, uh, with Andy Dalton, with him being signed this past March, Matt Nagy, he's trying to stick to the plan as much as he could. So, I mean, if Andy Dalton just comes out the gate, just starts playing well, I mean, he doesn't have to play like freaking like an MVP level. Like he can be a serviceable quarterback. Like he can be a game manager. He doesn't have to
Yeah,
like freaking do like have Alex Smith type numbers like when he had played in his MVP season. Like Alex Smith, that's like an exception, with Patrick
right.
Mahomes. A lot of people try to compare the Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith type of season, but Alex Smith, he was familiar with that system already. He's been in that system up until that point for many years with Andy Reid. He was already familiar with the system, and at the same time, he was also playing at an MVP level. Well, the thing with Andy Dalton, he's new to this type of system. He's new to Matt Nagy's type of playing level
Play
offense.
calling, really.
Huh?
Yeah, I say his play level. His play level is just I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. He's new to this West Coast offense because Matt Nagy runs a West Coast offense, and he's new to that. And so, I mean, if he comes out the gate, starts playing well, and he starts to get his feet wet, and they start winning games, he's gonna keep playing. Depending, it all really just depends on like how Andy Dalton plays. If he plays really well, if he's winning them games, I'll say if they're like at least 2-2 or 3-1, hell, even 4-0, man, like they're gonna keep him and they're gonna sit Justin Fields because their plan for Justin Fields is to help him develop mentally, not so much physically because you already know the tools are there. But Matt Nagy's already been reiterating that to play this type of quarterback position is more than just a physical trait. It's a mental thing. Learning pre-snap reads, learning post-snap reads, learning what the defense is going to give to you, what the defense is going to take to you, knowing what type of defensive schemes that the opposing teams are going to run. And you already saw what happened against Buffalo, man. Like when he didn't read that coverage when that linebacker was free, he was able to smack him right in his face because he didn't read that coverage. He didn't set his offensive lineman up to get that linebacker. So yeah, it just really depends. There are whole different types of situations that can happen. So yeah.
Well, if, based on how Andy Dalton performed and based on how Justin Fields performed and based on how flip floppy Matt Nagy, old shoe salesman ass be doing, I give it
Mm-hmm.
about 4 to 5 weeks max, unless Andy Dalton can produce a winning record. I'm not talking about 2-3 or 3-2 record. I'm talking about damn that 4-1 record. If Andy Dalton able to do that and the defense is actually able to perform, then probably it'll get pushed to maybe week 8, week 9, and then they'll have another assessment. It's going to be basically a 4 or 5 week basis in between to see how Andy Dalton perform. But he got the first 4 or 5 weeks, especially going against some very tough defenses the first of 3 weeks of the season before they face off against Detroit. So if the Bears is not able to at least be 2-1 through within that stretch, then you might see Andy Dalton be sat at that time, but I give a 5 week stretch at the most that will happen between Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. But I believe that they go, if anything, they're gonna start Justin Fields against a vanilla ass defense, and that is the Detroit Lions. So I believe that's how that's gonna go.
And speaking of Detroit,
But
they're already playing. They're playing the Indianapolis Colts right now.
oh, okay. What's the score? Do you know the score so far?
I think they just started. I'm not too sure exactly. They just started, but last time I heard, like the Lions fumbled the ball. So, it's 6-3 right now. It's 6-3. Lions are winning.
Oh wow, fuck the Lions. But anyways, it's a few guys that got released yet again. Khalil Mack little brother get released yet again. He don't get no breaks. He
He didn't
getting
get no
closer and
love.
closer to making the team. Right, he getting closer and closer to making it, but he got he got released because of injury. So I guess they paid him and then released him. Did some shit like that because it is what it is. They got rid. They placed a lot of guys on there. First they released them, and then they went ahead and I guess signed them to a certain type of deal and put them on the injury reserve list. They're released. They keep releasing guys and bringing a whole bunch of guys back based on everything I'm
Right.
reading so far. But basically, who you think is gonna make they 53-man roster? Like give me not the guys that you know for sure gonna make it, but give me some surprise guys that might make it, some guys that might get released because I've been hearing rumors that there's a chance that Jimmy Graham might get released. Desmond Trufant might get released because he hasn't been available. It's been a
I even
rumor
heard
that, of
Danny
course,
Trevathan might get released too. Danny Trevathan.
right. It's been a few guys. Yo, what's going on? What's going on, Jake? How you doing? Happy Friday. What's going on?
What up, Jake
What's up?
Bullock, aka Mitch Trubisky?
Right. John, nice background pick. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Shit, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Nagy is still in Chicago. Honestly, yeah.
Hey, where's
Black
Matt
people.
Nagy? Matt Nagy, his YouTube handle that always comes on
Right.
Ghostie's channel.
Oh yeah.
he's been
Right.
he's
When it
been
being Judah,
ghosting us.
right. He been gone ever since it started. It probably really was Matt Nagy the whole time. And we think
Probably
it's planned.
was
That's the reason why he couldn't hop on. Like, now next time he wasn't gonna hop
because
on.
he know the season's coming
We
up.
would have been right. We'd have been clowning his ass on life. But
Oh hell yeah! Oh yeah, I would have called him shoe salesman. I'm like, bro, you always backing out on your word and
yeah,
everything.
basically that's why I wouldn't be surprised if he he said that's me. No, no, but I wouldn't be surprised if it really was him. But honestly, though, who you think that would be surprised? Like, would you be surprised if Jimmy Graham was released or Desmond Trufant or even not Kendall Vildor but Duke Shelley? Because I heard that Thomas Graham could overtake him because he looked a lot better than Duke Shelley did, who was getting torched against the Bills, and Thomas Graham almost came with the interception. He
Especially those slant coverages.
Excellent coverage out there. Right.
Those slant coverages, he was getting burnt.
Bad.
So basically, some of my candidates to getting cut, unfortunately, Danny Trevathan, I know a lot of people love him. He's a fan favorite, but if he, doesn't really show out in practice, if he's not producing, because Alec Ogletree, man, like he's been looking much more faster. He's been looking much more stronger than him, like especially in the preseason. Alec Ogletree, even though he kind of had a hiccup, with the Buffalo Bills, he was kind of getting burnt, with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, overall, he's been having a really great offseason so far, and he's been looking good. Like he's had 5-6 interceptions, a whole bunch of tackles for loss. I mean, he's been looking good, and he's really gunning for Danny Trevathan. If Danny Trevathan doesn't do well this season or doesn't, improve this offseason, he might get cut. With him getting cut, they also save money too. And so if they also saving money, they can also possibly resign I said Allen Iverson. Why am I thinking Allen Iverson? Allen Robinson. They could re-sign him,
Right.
to a 5-year deal, whatever. Another candidate who I think may get cut is Kendall Vildor, because he did not look good at all with the Bills. Like you
I
said,
think he
like
might
he's
get
been kicked.
dropped. I think he might get dropped to number 3, and they might cut
Number
Duke
3,
Shelley.
right?
That's what I think. But continue.
Yeah, but with Kendall Vildor, um, the reason why I think he might possibly get cut is because, of course, with the Buffalo Bills, he's just been up and down throughout the season, and I think with his performance, with the Bills, it's been raising eyebrows. Him getting burnt in slant coverages and everything that's been happening. I think they might keep Desmond Trufant because they also need a veteran presence. They need that veteran presence for him. Because he can be valuable. But those are two so far that I can think of. Third one, I don't think they're going to cut Jimmy Graham. I don't think they're going to cut Jimmy Graham. They're going to keep him for at least maybe for one more year, so at least he could
Okay.
help Cole Kmet become like the tight end one. Because Cole Kmet, I don't understand why they didn't play him in preseason. He should have been
Me
playing in
neither.
preseason, him and Darnell Mooney, because they haven't
Yep.
earned that right to be like to have that veteran to just sit out and not do nothing. They need the reps. They definitely need
Need
the reps.
some
I feel like
reps.
Cole. I think more than just some reps, man. They need a lot of reps because they have to get familiar, with Andy Dalton and Justin Fields, because eventually, they're like Justin Fields is going to be the future, and so Justin Fields is going to be thrown to them. So they have to get used to, you know, um, their possibly future, quarterback, because he's going to start building the connection. And if you play with him, if you play with him earlier on, then it's going to be much more easier for you, when the season goes on, because you'll know, okay, you run this route, make sure you get open, and then you catch the ball, because building that type of connection is very, very vital, especially for the
Right.
offense, and especially for Nagy's offense if he wants to claim to have a top 10 offense this season. So
Right. And
so much he
still, I
claims.
still haven't even surpassed 20. Shit.
Right.
And matter of fact, Jake
And
said
you're saying
something
you're on the
earlier
top 10.
about Trevathan. Right. Drake said something earlier about Trevathan. He said he overpaid, honestly, even though Trevathan did have like 120 some like 115 tackles this season. Last season, Eddie Goldman, he put laughing my ass off. He might be overpaid. That's how he feel because he ain't been there last year. It took him so long to come back this year. Then he got Rodney Adams over Ridley, of course. I got him over Ridley. I think Ridley probably should be released.
Yeah,
That's
Ridley's
one of
gonna be
my
gone.
guys. Yeah, Ridley. He got too many chances. He should be released right along with yeah, because I think they're
Javon
gonna keep
Williams.
Daz Newsome. Right, they gonna keep Daz Newsome.
Mm-hmm.
So and they should keep Rodney Adams. If they do keep Ridley, make him a practice squad player. Uh, Jake
Which
said
is
they're
unlikely.
gonna cut right. Yeah, well they should to me possibly. Well
He's
they
had his
should and
chances, man. He's had his chances.
right. Yeah, true. It's like he don't give effort to catch the ball, and it's like I don't know, man. He always running the wrong fucking route, so I don't get it. So yeah, he
Right.
might be done for.
And he
And
was supposed to be a
Jake
route runner.
also
That's what he came to be. He was supposed to be a route runner.
right. See, the thing is, when he run the right routes, he's smooth as fuck. But he
Mm-hmm.
always running the wrong route. The wrong route still be
Million
smooth as
rounds.
hell, but he ran the wrong route, so the quarterback can throw a pick or whatever. But also,
Mm-hmm.
Jake said that Trey Robertson will be cut too. So who you think Jake Robinson? I said Jake, but Trey Robertson will be cut.
Trey Robertson. Do I think he'll be cut?
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't even heard it, or I
I
haven't
think
even heard it. I didn't even know he was on the team. I haven't heard of him
Right.
in a minute.
It's a lot of guys that's gonna be cut. You know, the Bears got a lot of people
Oh
cut
yeah. Of
between
course he's gonna be cut.
before the August 31st deadline. So
I mean, if I
I
haven't
don't know.
heard, if I haven't heard from him,
No,
yeah, he's gonna be cut.
right. I'm about to say
Of course.
shit. There's a chance, but you don't think shit, I can't remember his goddamn name. Jimmy Graham gonna be cut, but I believe that there's a small chance he can be cut, and that is because how well Jesse James have been playing in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they decide to go with at times three tight end sets, you know, have probably one single back in the backfield, and have one wide receiver out there, some shit like that, and then have them all run routes, then that could be a possibility. But if Jesse James played as well as if he just play like this, they probably won't even resign Jimmy Graham. I mean, they probably won't even allow him to go throughout the season. They probably just release him. You know, he gonna have to play. He gonna have to play well early, like he did last year when he was catching all the damn touchdowns early. The first
and towards the red zone.
5 weeks, right? First 5 weeks, he had like 5 touchdowns. So he gonna have to do some shit like that in order for it to be, you know, relevant to keep him along with Cole Kmet and Jesse James out there. You know, we already know that wide receivers is locked down with Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. They got Artie Burns, Marquise Goodwin. You know, the last guy. They got 2 guys they're gonna keep. They're gonna be it's gonna be the guy you just mentioned, or it's gonna be Rodney Adams. So one of those guys going to the practice squad. You know, we already know that Artavius Pierce, the running back, and Ryan Nall is not going to be on the team. Most likely, they're going to get released because the Bears going to have 4 running backs already.
I think Demir Bird is going to be on the practice squad, probably. Demir Bird.
You think they're going to put him on the practice squad?
Either him or keep him on the roster, because how many they have to have 6, right? Six wide receivers on the roster.
And I said Artie Burns. Artie Burns is a fucking cornerback. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, Artie Burns is a cornerback.
Right. I meant to say Demir Bird. Demir Bird is one of them. So he's number 3. It's gonna be between him or Goodwin. It's gonna be between him or Goodwin. It's gonna be number 3.
So is Allen Robinson a wide receiver 1? Darnell Mooney. Marquise Goodwin. Goodwin. Demir Bird. Rodney Adams. And who's the last one?
The last one gonna be their rookie receiver, eh?
Oh yeah, Daz Newsome.
Right. That's who they're gonna keep. So either Rodney Adams or Daz Newsome gonna end up being, you know, on the practice squad this year. And we already know Daz Newsome gonna be returning the kicks. So,
oh yeah.
So that's definitely gonna affect a lot of stuff right there. Hold on. I hope it didn't kick me out. Did it really just kick me?
Yeah, I think your screen is frozen.
Yeah, for some reason it kicked me out or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I guess because my mother called, but shit, hopefully it made my camera come back. But anyways, man, we're gonna see everything exactly what's gonna happen. What made it boot off, honestly. Shit, my mother calling me, so I'm gonna tell her, no sir, call you back. That's what I'm gonna put with her before she called me again. Cause she ain't got no chill. She don't care. Call you back. There we go. But anyways, back to the Chicago Bears, man. Briefly now talking about Mitchell Trubisky revenge game. Now,
oh yeah.
Of course, we heard everybody talk about it. You know, some people said preseason game. You know, so a lot of people got pissed off. Hey, what's going on, my friend, how you feeling? Uh, but we heard, of course, we heard Judah, but we heard his rant. He was snapping, saying "fuck him." He can't read the defense and all that, but he showed read the fuck out of our defense, and he showed
Right,
lit our
exactly.
defense the fuck up. Regardless, you can look at it and you can say it's a preseason game,
Or they're
but did
saying he was a
we?
check down. He only did check downs, check downs.
Which is true for
Freaking
the
Tom
most
Brady
part,
does a lot of check downs.
right? And still, what happened? He moved the chains.
Move the
So it is
chains.
what it is.
That's what made him
That's
win
all that
Super
matters.
Bowls, right?
Right. At least the first two, doing number check
Yeah.
downs.
Yep.
But he just lit our ass on fire. And honestly, I expected him to do that. They played to his strengths. They had him do everything like he's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do. Have him run slants in the routes, keep and then run deep in the routes. Just
Mm-hmm.
keep it within a 15-20 yard range and keep him
Mm-hmm.
looking good.
Like he was
So
just throwing
even though
yard passes.
right, kept moving the chain. So
Mm-hmm.
because people keep saying it's a preseason game and all that, even though the Bears had almost every starter out there, except for Goldman,
And Roquan
Roquan
Smith and
Smith,
Danny
Danny
Trevathan.
Trevathan. Right, just about everybody else was out there. And
The
at
front
first, when
seven
people
pretty
say
much is out there.
right, and people saying, "Oh, it's just a preseason game," but when Justin Fields performed and did well against the Dolphins, wasn't all of us was excited. Majority of us was excited, and a lot
Right.
of people were saying, "Oh, I can't wait until the regular season start because then he can do this and he can do that." And honestly, you have to still take what Justin Fields into what he did to the Dolphins in consideration and say that's also a preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, do you think that that validated Trubisky in saying that they chose that they shouldn't have got rid of Trubisky and saying Andy Dalton, that they should have kept him, or
And
do you think it's a preseason game? Period. Does it?
I've been harping this like all off season long. Like, I mean, it was a bad idea that they got rid of Trubisky. They should have fired Matt Nagy, in my opinion, because Matt Nagy he can't even get out of his own damn way, man. Like, but at the same time, you probably wouldn't have gotten Justin Fields, so that was also a blessing in disguise. But at the same
I
time,
believe they would have still. I believe that they still would have signed
mm-hmm,
them because remember, it's
mm-hmm.
Ryan Pace making that type of decision. It's nobody else making that decision, and Ryan Pace makes the final decision when it comes down to it. And I still believe that he would have made that pick for the future, and Trubisky would
but
have had
there
a year to still prove himself.
but there are also reports that that Matt Nagy had also say in them getting Justin Fields, or he kind of influenced, because I mean there are some analysts or there's some close reporters who are close to the Bears reporters saying that Matt Nagy had some type of influence. But I mean either way, but just based on what you said, we probably would have got him. But like at the same time, like it was not Mitchell Trubisky's fault. I mean, you saw what happened when Bill Lazor was doing the play calling.
Yeah,
When Matt Nagy gave up that play calling, you saw how well our offense was. Like we were freaking scoring 30 points, 30, 40 points, man. With Bill Lazor calling the plays. And that we were running like a lot of RPOs. We were running halfback sets, to help, cater to Mitchell Trubisky's strength. And, we were throwing like 7 yard. The same way the Buffalo Bills were running the offense against us, that's the same way we were doing when Bill Lazor was running those play calls, running those bootleg plays, um, those
yeah,
um, um, those underneath routes, doing those types of plays to help Mitchell Trubisky cater to his strengths.
yeah.
And you already saw on full display what happened this past Saturday. You know, they were running the same type of plays that Mitchell Trubisky is used to. And Matt Nagy, for some odd reason, can't even get out of his own ass, man. It's like he's trying to make
Well,
all these
well,
quarterbacks.
well, that's more. Well, that's more on Sean Desai with the defense giving that up, but I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, that too. Sean Desai, he didn't adjust. He didn't adjust at all, and that's probably with him being a rookie defensive coordinator. But he's going to correct that. That's a learning lesson. He's a rookie defensive coordinator. I understand, but at the same time, Matt Nagy can't get out of his own damn way. You already saw what happened, especially with Kansas City in the playoff game against Tennessee, right? He was running all like these
Yeah.
gadget type plays and all these unnecessary plays that made Kansas City lose. And if you even if you go back to the 2018 season, you saw like what week 12 or beginning, I think between week 10 to week 12, you saw that our offense uh, was putting up like low points, not putting up much points because Matt Nagy was running all these weird stupid plays. And ever since then, like we've just been low, like our offense has been low. We've been 25th on offensive rating, 25th in passing yards, 28th in rushing yards because Matt Nagy refuses to run the ball. And we all know running the ball is very vital to having a successful offense. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of variables going into there. One of them is just a simple fact that Matt Nagy's system simply just doesn't work, and that he has to cut those plays out and dumb it down for every quarterback because the concepts and everything is too complicated. Even the blocking schemes too complicated,
Right.
especially for the Chicago Bears offensive line, who hasn't been relevant over the past 10 to 12 years. They really have not been that good. They either been decent in one area and ass at the next. Even back in 2018, they weren't the best pass protection combo. Just the simple fact that Trubisky was able to use his athleticism and get out of a lot of sacks was the reason why they
Mm-hmm.
didn't give up a lot of sacks. But they was decent in terms of run blocking. It's just a simple fact that Matt Nagy wasn't calling enough running plays and putting them in the right formations to be able to bust open those big
10,
holes
15
and
yard
put
runs.
right and be able to allow Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen at that time to get to the second level consistently. And then later on in 2019 and 2020 season, when it came down to David Montgomery, not putting guys in the right position, doing this, doing that, calling the wrong plays at the wrong motherfucking time, especially constantly calling screen plays in the rounds, you know, or just running up the middle twice and then after that pass on third down, just doing all type of goofy shit instead of just trying to see the field, see the concept, see exactly what's going to happen, and then call the correct play at the correct time. I don't know. It's just like he's a
And also letting the game
and
come to you. You never let the game. He never ever let the game come to him. He was just too.
right.
He, he was just too slow. Like he just played too fast. He played too scared.
It's like I put it like this. He could be an excellent head coach because we don't know everything on the inside. He could be an excellent head coach. He's a shitty offensive coordinator. That's it. He is a
Mm-hmm.
terrible offensive coordinator. Could be an excellent head coach. Could be one of the best head coaches. Period. But he is a terrible offensive coordinator. Period. And he needs to give it up, and he needs to allow Bill Lazor to call the offensive plays from now on, and just need to get the hell out of there and just continue to just be a head coach. It's been plenty of head coaches that does not call the plays. Even Andy Reid, he had to learn how to call plays for a while because even back when he was with the Eagles, what he used to do? That means to throw that, had Donovan McNabb throw that ball 35, 40 times, sometimes 50 times a game, and run that ball 10 to 14
Right.
times. And four of those carries with Donovan McNabb running for his life. So it's like it is what it is. Matt Nagy, if he get the chance to survive in the league that long as a head coach, then he'll continue to get the opportunities. But only how that can happen if the Bears win. And guess what? Guess what? With his philosophy so far, other than 2018, when everything was going right for the Bears, defense getting stops constantly, Bears getting short field, and the Bears have been able to punch it in on those short fields. It's not gonna work. So unless everything come together for our Chicago Bears defensively, which the back four guys looks bad. The back seven guys look bad actually. The safeties they look incompetent, especially Eddie Jackson. But hopefully that just means that he just wasn't playing 100% because it's preseason. You don't want to get hurt. The cornerbacks did not look that good. Not Jalen Johnson or Duke Shelley or Kendall Vildor. Still haven't seen Trevathan. Still don't know if he's gonna make the team. But only one who looked good was Thomas Graham Jr. So defensive backs looked terrible. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the defensive line looked good one game and looked ass the next game. So it's a lot of questions when it comes down to the defense because the defense is the key. If the defense do
Mm-hmm.
not look good, if they don't play good out there, and the offense be constantly stagnant, guess what, man? The Bears is gonna be done for it, man. So it's a lot to feed into when it comes down to what Matt Nagy and those goofy ass philosophies that he be having that just put our team in a goddamn flux constantly. So
And
I
people
don't
have
know.
to understand everything starts up front. You have to have a good offensive line. You have to have a good defensive line. And if you don't have either one of those, your team is going to lose. Your team is going to it's going to set the team up for failure. I mean, you already saw what happened, with this Buffalo Bills game and the fact that our offensive line wasn't even healthy. You saw our quarterbacks getting beat up. Andy Dalton not having enough time to throw within the pocket. He wasn't comfortable throwing in the pocket. And you saw Justin Fields. He was scrambling out of the pocket so many times. He wasn't getting comfortable throwing in the pocket because our offensive line, he was playing with second and third stringers. And if you don't have your offensive line being cohesive with each other, if being cohesive with each other, it's gonna fail. And Matt Nagy, he's throwing all these types of concepts, these offensive line concepts at this team, and it's confusing him. And if Matt Nagy does not give up the play calling, man, you might find he's gonna find himself in an unemployment line in the NFL
Right.
sooner rather than
And
later.
hopefully it
Hopefully
doesn't
not.
ravage the team. It don't ravage this team to a point that the Bears end up being, 5-12 throughout the goddamn season. Only won 5 games and 17 tries. That just had me hot right there. Like,
And
oh my
we're gonna
god.
be hearing it from CEO too.
Right. CEO, we're gonna hear from everybody. Giants Nation. We're gonna
Yep.
hear from Packers fans. We're gonna hear from
Fitz Vegas,
everybody.
all them guys.
Right, all the guys that's in this type of
And
community that
dog and the Bears.
right, in the live stream community that go against the Bears. So it's
Hmm.
like, man, we need something from them,
Right.
especially in the season opener. The first 5, 6, I say the first 8 weeks are gonna tell us everything that we need to know about our team. The first eight
Hmm.
weeks is gonna be the most telling. The ups and the downs. So it's gonna let us know everything how it go. And then at the next 8 weeks after that, it's gonna be how well do they adjust in the following 8 weeks. How will they adjust after uh, injuries and guys coming back at this time, that time. Constantly being spreaded out. So it's a lot of stuff to take in hand. But honestly, I don't know. I'm just hoping that in the preseason game that they had tomorrow, that everything works out right for the players and they're actually able to come out healthy. Enough players able to come out healthy and then they're able to make a fair assessment on who gonna make it
Hmm.
onto the team. So honestly, I don't know who else do you think is gonna make it on the team or gonna still stay on the team as well.
Um, like I said, Jimmy Graham, I feel like he's gonna stay on the team. Because he's kind of vital to helping Cole Komet, being the tight end one for this team. Um, of course, Alec Ogletree is gonna make it because of his play. I mean, I'll be surprised if he gets cut. It wouldn't make any sense to me because we're very thin at the middle linebacker position because I don't trust Josh Woods. I don't trust Iggy. I don't trust those guys because they haven't been doing so well, especially in the preseason.
Right.
Who else do I expect to make it? Of course, Rodney Adams, Thomas Graham, those guys. I expect those guys
I
to
think
make it.
Josh Woods might get released. Josh Woods might get released.
Yeah, he
One
might
of
get
those guys
released.
might get released.
But speaking of
Or
middle,
resent to the practice squad.
I wanted to say this right about the whole NFL 100. Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of the NFL 100, what do you think of Fred Warner? Right, coming in at 21 over Khalil Mack
Roquan.
and Roquan Smith.
I thought that was crazy because I was like, hold on, didn't Roquan Smith have a way better stat line than him? Didn't he have like the most tackles
Way
for a
better.
loss for a linebacker?
Mm-hmm.
Like he had 2 interceptions, he had like 5, 6 sacks, he had over 100 tackles, he had more tackles
18
than
tackles
Khalil
for
Mack.
loss.
Right? I'm like he was just he was just pure destruction when he was with the Bears, and I'm like, and Seattle defense was ass the whole season.
Or
So
San
I would like
Francisco.
to see. Well, shit, I forgot. Sorry about
Yeah,
this.
Fred Warner
San
plays for San
Francisco,
Francisco.
right? San
Right,
Francisco
right.
49ers. I'm
And
thinking
they
about
only
it
won
now.
like
Yeah,
what,
but
5 or 6 games, if I'm not mistaken.
right, right. They won 5, 6 games, and their defense wasn't even that good last year. I'm fucking
Right.
up. I got to stay on point on that, but they basically was, but they basically wasn't doing. They're good last year, the 49ers, and the Bears won more games. So it's like
Right.
I don't know. They even did that
That's so
with Roquan Smith
disrespectful.
and Bobby Wagner. You know, he had some of the best stat lines out of all the middle linebackers
The linebackers,
last
right.
year. I think he had the best overall stat line, and still
Right.
no
He was the
love.
best linebacker. If you want to be
They
honest,
don't
he
give
was the
him
best
more
linebacker
love.
in the NFL.
That means he gonna have to do it again this year. Not only gonna have to do it again this year, his tackles gonna have to increase, his interceptions gonna have to increase, and the
He's
sacks
gonna
might
have
have to
200
be about
tackles.
at least the same. No, you're right. You're gonna have to have like 200 total tackles, like 150 solo tackles, like
Mm-hmm.
6, 7 sacks, 4 interceptions, return 3 of them for a touchdown, have
Right.
5 forced fumbles, and be on the Madden cover at the same motherfucking time.
Right.
Shit, all that
Like
shit,
people don't
and then
forget.
he might come in at 90 after all that. He might come in at 90.
And
Because
Al
Allen Robinson did
Robinson came in at
right.
87.
Right, I was just about to say that. Like Allen Robinson, he just not coming in. Shit, he just right 87. I'm like, you telling me he not as good as the guys from the Titans and everything else? He not that good, really? He that
Like
underrated?
they had Justin Jefferson, a rookie wide receiver over him.
Right.
A
I'm
rookie.
like,
A
seriously.
rookie.
I'm like, I guess, man. I'm like, especially what Allen Robinson did for the Bears last year. You know, switching between quarterbacks. And no matter who threw him the ball, he just got open. I'm like, come on, man, he should be way higher rated than that. You know, he's underrated every goddamn year. If you go to the
Put
video and you read the comment sections, there's even Packer fans in there like, listen, I'm a Packer fan, and I'm gonna tell you
mm-hmm.
now, Allen Robinson is underrated every year because all he do is catch
Super
the
underrated.
goddamn ball. All
I
he
think I'm
do
gonna
is
have to
catch
make
the
a
ball.
video about that. How underrated some of these Bears players are, or underrated
Right,
NFL players.
well, at least Madden got it right. Madden got him at least top 10 rated wide receiver out of the whole game.
Right.
That's where Allen Robinson should be at top 10 wide receiver in the league because
Mm-hmm.
he does his thing. 2 consecutive seasons with 97 plus catches, almost 100 catches in both seasons, 1,100 plus yards in both seasons,
Like put Justin
five,
Fields
six
on this
touchdowns
team.
in the season.
Put
Right.
Justin Fields on this team. Do you think he'll have the same numbers? Put DK Metcalf on this team. Do you think he'll have the same numbers? No. With playing with two
I don't know.
quarterbacks.
I don't know. I don't know. Shit. I'm about to say shit. It just depends. Depends on how much they want the ball. Because Allen Robinson
Right.
won't let that ball majority of the time. Sometimes he looked a little disinterested, and that's what caused, you know, a few interceptions like against the Giants. Those two little blimps that caused two
Yeah.
interceptions by Trubisky, not fighting for
But
the ball.
overall,
So
he led the league in like contested catches at one time too, if I'm not mistaken, with the number of contested catches he's made with the
yeah, I can
defender
believe
in his
that
face.
because that's what he does. He constantly got a defender in his face because he don't have the speed to outrun the
Right.
defender. He got the route running to break free, but he ain't got the speed to
He ain't got the speed.
get away and then running in for a touchdown. Because if he did, he'd have 10, 12 touchdowns instead of 6 to 7 touchdowns a season.
Right.
So, but I don't know, man. What do you expect from the Chicago Bears tomorrow against the Tennessee Titans at 6 o'clock? Check out the live stream tomorrow, people.
I expect Justin Fields to go ham on Tennessee Titans. I do not trust their defense. Their defense was ass last year, and depending on who they play, I think they're going to play their second and third stringers. Justin Fields is going to feast on them. I'm sorry. I don't trust Tennessee's defense at all. They were even, I mean, don't be fooled. Like last year when we faced them, like our offensive line was just freaking littered with injuries last year. Like half of our offensive line were like on the COVID-19 list, and like half of them were injured. And so that Tennessee defense looked like the Bears 2018 defense, but compared to all other teams, they were trash. They were ass. So I expect Justin Fields to make a statement tomorrow, and to kind of like make Matt Nagy kind of recant his decision on starting Andy Dalton. But I
Well,
expect I expect it to be over. Maybe I expect the Bears to win. Maybe it's going to be a blowout. I don't know the exact score, but I feel like they're going to blow them out.
I don't believe none of that, other than the fact that Justin Fields may make Matt Nagy regret starting Andy Dalton over him, but I don't believe it's going to be a blowout. I believe that that's a possible chance that Justin Fields might get smoked in this game a little bit just because of the simple fact that Matt Nagy is calling the plays. Period. Matt Nagy he's a
Mm-hmm.
piece of shit of a play caller, and he gonna continue to be a piece of shit of a play caller. You're gonna put Justin
Mm-hmm.
Fields in a lot of bad positions. Justin Fields gonna use his athleticism to get out of a lot of trouble. But it's gonna be at times that he ain't gonna be able to get out, and the pocket is just gonna collapse on him. I believe that the defense might play a little bit better. Sean Desai might have the backup guys a little bit more prepared, so that every time they cut the Sean Desai, he don't be walking past looking like
Yep.
mad as hell, just steaming like a motherfucker because team getting smoked like a motherfucker on defense. Just all you see is
Mm-hmm.
moving the chains, moving the chains. It's constantly just everybody doing that. First down on their ass, just
Right.
dancing on their ass. So I believe that
Dancing on the
overall
ass on the goal
he can
line.
play better. But I don't know if the Bears is gonna win this game. I believe because of
Matt Nagy,
just the
right?
inconsistencies. Yeah, the inconsistencies
Mm-hmm.
of the offense. Matt Nagy play calling, the offensive line still not being that good. Yes, it is the backup. Yes, it is second and third string guys, fourth string, fifth string guys. But what the fuck is they picking like the worst of the second and first and second, third or fifth string guys? Are they picking the worst of the worst
They're
type of
gonna
guys?
work at Walmart next. By the end of the season,
Right,
they're gonna be real estate
right.
agents.
Right, when you see those guys, you be like, man, that's a big dude. He should have played in the NFL. He tried. He was
He
terrible.
tried.
So I'm like,
Now he works at Walmart.
right, talking about, shit, let me get that card for you. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, so it's like the Bears be picking like the worst of the worst people to block,
Oh,
the
man.
worst of the worst people to try to catch the ball. I'm like, damn, man, do something out there. Do something right. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, I want the Bears to win, but I don't think they're gonna win this last preseason game. I believe they're gonna lose. It's gonna be a close preseason game, Justin Fields is going to keep them in there with his athleticism. He's going to make a few key throws. I believe he might even throw a pick. He might throw one in the last preseason game, but I believe he's going to make up for it by throwing a few touchdowns. He might throw 2 touchdowns, maybe 200 some yards. But I believe that because Sean Desai not being an experienced play caller, that's what's going to cost the second and third stringers, to give up a few plays here and there, and that's what's going to cost them in the end. But I believe Justin Fields is going to have a good enough performance while people are still going to be given all the chatter about whether he should be a starter or not. Now, honestly, I did have a sound. I wanted to put the sound bite up of Sports Talk Chicago because I asked John if I could put it on the podcast. He said, yeah, but I just didn't get the chance to get the sound bite in order. So I might have it on for the live stream tomorrow if I talk a little bit more about the Bears preseason game last week and then put that in just before the actual game start with the Titans. So, but man, I wish I could have had that. I would have played the whole sound bite. It was with him and Mike North, if you know who that is.
No, Mike North.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yeah.
I know.
So you start laughing.
He was defending Mitch Trubisky. He was defending Mitch Trubisky.
Right. That's why I said he's the man that was like basically the Bears have never developed a quarterback. You develop one, despite the fact that Matt Nagy didn't even want to help. You still end up developing a quarterback.
Yeah, they developed him, but they just they just made him go.
You give him up for Andy Dalton. And I still say it. Andy Dalton is not better than Mitchell Trubisky. He had better.
He's not.
He had better pre-snap read quarterback. Post-snap read quarterback, ass.
No,
right.
He's ass. Yeah, I don't know why Ghost of Judah said he's better. No, Andy Dalton is not better than Mitch Trubisky. No, it was horrible. We got rid of Trubisky.
That's a narrative. That's a narrative that people say that he can't read a defense. If you can't read a defense, how's you winning 29 games? If you can't read a defense out of 50, if you can't read a defense, how's you in the playoffs? 2 out of 3 years. If you take away his rookie year,
yeah, you take away his rookie where he's 26-13, 26-13, with all the bullshit that's been happening, all the bullshit play calling, the crappy play calling, he still went 26-13. He was 10-1 against the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. And he could have been 3-3 against the Packers if it wasn't for some stupid play calling. Because think about it, we should have blown him out. We should have really swept him in 2019. Right. We should have swept him in 2018. We should have swept him in 2019. Right. We should have swept him. But if Matt Nagy's play calling.
Yeah, play calling, bad execution, the refs, especially the refs in 2019 in Green Bay when Patterson made the excellent tackle and a fumble and they called it a damn penalty.
That changed the whole trajectory of the game. And I hate when Packers fans saying, we beat you all fair and square. No, you didn't. You didn't beat us fair and square. I watched the whole game. Right. You can't tell me shit, man. I watched the whole game.
But it is what it is, It
is what it
Eventually, it's going to be at a time where the Packers' reign is going to end. It was just like it was with the Bears, where the Packers fans were saying, having the same conversation, like, "Oh my God, I can't wait for them niggas to fall."
Right up until the 90s, we were whooping their ass up until the 90s.
Right, so that's why I'm like, it is what it is. Bears fans, we know that the Bears is going to rise again. The only ones who will never rise is the Lions, so we're not worried about that. By the time they rise, it's going to be touch football. So,
right, it will probably be the end of the world. But anyway, right. But think about it. We were up 24 games against the Packers, 24 up 30 games prior to the 1990s, and they just passed it up. They just passed us up in win totals just recently. In 2017, 2018. So I mean, y'all are saying, we dominated you the whole time. No, you didn't. Y'all just recently passed us up in win totals. Come
Yeah,
on.
because Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers
Aaron
smoked our
Rodgers,
ass.
right.
But
And
let's
even
hope
with
the
all our
Bears
debacle not having a
can bring that
quarterback,
back
y'all
together.
still only have 2 Super Bowls to show for it, and y'all just recently passed this up and win totals. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm about to say so. But at the same time, they just been smoking our ass, man. Like
I mean, I
as
give you
much
that. They've
as
been whooping our
everything
ass.
is true, it's
Still.
just
They've been whooping our
a
ass. I'll
little
give
bit.
you that. They have. They have.
Nah,
Especially this last
uh,
decade, 2010.
right. They've been right there. Has been 9/11 in our ass, like straight up
Yep.
blowing our ass up, blowing our ass out of the water most of the time. I have to cut the goddamn game off, go
Dude, I
outside,
watched.
shit,
Don't even remind me of the
ponder
2014
ponder
game.
my thoughts for a second. Hell yeah, go ponder my thoughts for a second. Go ahead and reflect for a second, like.
Oh my gosh, man! He gave a back-to-back
Okay.
50-point games
Right,
against the
okay.
Patriots and the Packers.
Oh man, that was man. You talking about reflecting? Like, oh my god, like, should I retire being a Bears fan? Like, I ain't finna be no other football fan. I ain't finna be no other football fan. But should I retire? Like,
Should I be a
get to
Seahawks fan?
like, no, I wasn't even gonna be no Bear fan. Just retire from football. No NFL, no college, no nothing. Like, should I just retire? Because the Patriots and the Eagles just like lit our ass on all the fire in the world, like
And the
god
Bears,
damn, like
notoriously known for their defense, they faltered.
I,
Notoriously
I
known for their
wanted
defense.
the whole team to be fired. Like they need to strip them down and then just pick me up because I think I can do better than that because that shit was so bad. Like, oh my
It
god,
was so horrible, man. Oh my
50
god.
twice. Like college teams don't like it's some college teams that don't do their consecutive games. Like 50 twice. That was I don't know, man. That shit had a nigga hurting. I was hurt, man. I was like
And we were what?
another
We were
Sunday
down 42-0 during halftime. 42-0. I'm sorry, I'm making you reflect.
I'm dead. Right.
We were ass back then, bro.
Like,
We were ass.
Damn, man, we was Detroit.
Bad memories, I know.
Right, we was Detroit for a split second.
I know.
I couldn't believe it. We was Detroit for a little while. Detroit
was us in 2014. Detroit was us in 2014.
Hell no, they'd never be us. Because shit, they floundered badly. Like I was just They just had a little hope that died because Calvin Johnson said "see ya," and then after that, it got real bad for him. But then they got rid of Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford was like, "Thank God, shit."
Dude, he even said that. Calvin Johnson even mentioned that in his Hall of Fame speech. Like, man, like he said, I wish the team. Well, he didn't exactly say it, but he was kind of throwing shade at the organization that he wished the team could have done more. You know, the ownership and the front office. You know,
I bet he do because shit, he should have a ring. He one of those players like Barry
that's
Sanders
unacceptable.
That have a ring.
And he's one of the greatest wide receivers. I don't care what anybody says. One of the greatest wide receivers of all time.
Right. If he plays 15 years, you know, he definitely getting over
Randy Moss.
He probably gets about 18,000, 19,000 yards in his career.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he might turn around and have the most receiving yard, second most receiving yards of all time.
Behind Jerry Rice.
You know, if he right, and if he played 18, 20 years, he probably passed up Jerry Rice, but he only played 9. 9 years,
yeah,
12,000 yards receiving. Right. 12,000 yard receiver in 9 years. You know,
that's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Right, straight dominant. You know, got the record for the most receiving yards. Almost got 2,000 receiving yards in the season.
I don't
because of
understand
injuries.
what the Lions organization was thinking. You had a freaking generational talent on your team, and you couldn't do anything to win. I'm like,
I don't know. Listen, I didn't know shit about Calvin Johnson until one day. I just so happened to be turning to ESPN and seeing and was watching a Georgia Tech game. And he caught the ball across the middle. As soon as I changed the channel, he caught the ball across the middle and burnt everybody. I said, "Who is this big ass dude?"
right.
He fast as hell.
You look like freaking
And then
LeBron out there with a bunch of little guys.
I swear to God. And then when he got picked up by Detroit, I said, "Oh
I'm like, oh
no."
shit.
I'm like, I'm like, man, he finna be smoking Charles Tillman ass. A few times he did, a few times he didn't, but
right.
it was a battle. That's all I got to say is. But
Yeah.
either way, if Calvin Johnson goes to the Patriots or even the Steelers or even at that time Cincinnati, whether they had Carson Palmer or Andy Dalton during that stretch when they had AJ Green too during that stretch.
Oh God, Chad Ochocinco.
Right. He'll be a goddamn monster. He probably would have got one of those teams over the hump. You know, Steelers probably
got him a ring. Yeah.
You know, he definitely getting one with the Patriots, but he probably could have got the Steelers another ring because how well he played. You know, a few of the other squads that's been out there.
Antonio Brown,
with them. Mike Wallace.
Yep. You know, come on now.
So it's a lot of guys that he could have got, but it's only all we can say now is basically a goddamn conspiracy theory shit. Can't say nothing else about it. But before we end this podcast, Kofi, do you got any more that you want to say? Any shout outs, anything?
Not right now. Yeah, just guys, just subscribe to my channel, KO Sports Talk. I just made a video about Javon Williams. Also made a video about Lauri Markkanen getting cut or getting traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Today he got traded. Other than that, man, I don't got really nothing else to say, and I hope the Bears win. But yeah, we'll find out, tomorrow.
Okay, with me, I just want to say, man, once again, y'all, tune in to this season. Not only just check out my podcast, the Jonah Pidney podcast, but also check out KO Sports Talk live streams when you do go live. I will be doing a halftime show, doing a preview show along with KO Sports Talk. We will have our own separate entities and post game shows as well throughout the season. Also, check out the last live stream that I will be having this Saturday at 5:55. The last stream will be starting the Bears versus the Tennessee Titans game. We'll be starting at 6 o'clock. So make sure you guys do check that out. And make sure to like and subscribe to both our pages, and make sure to continue to tune in to
guys. Like the page, like
Friday.
it.
Right,
Please
and
like
subscribe it to both of our pages.
It helps the channel. It helps our channel grow. It helps our channel grow when you like it. So please get them likes up. Get those likes up.
Right. So make sure to tune in. People tune in to all that stuff. So just make sure y'all keep it straight, keep it right. And once again, this is Jonah Pipney and also KO Sports Talk, bringing it to you with the Main Event Podcast. All right, people. Peace out. Okay, I really came back on my shit. My bands be mobile.